Ronaldo to City. Now, I remember seeing this yesterday. It was a television company in Spain, you know, the most dramatic one, Crook, where they go like, it was almost like a soap where they deliver news in the way that they do. Ronaldo's actually released his own statement, hasn't he? And he's pretty livid to be spoken about in the way that he is being spoken about at the moment. What is the latest on this?
Yeah, I think that message was probably motivated by Carlo Ancelotti actually going on his own social media to rule out taking back to Real Madrid, which seemed a strange thing for the manager of one of the biggest football clubs in the world to do. We're going to come on and talk about Harry Kane, I know that, but you can't really talk about Ronaldo without talking about Harry Kane, because when it comes to Manchester City, the two are linked. What I do know is that there is some truth to the fact that George Mendes, the super agent, Ronaldo's representative, is actively trying to find him a new club. He's hawking him around to clubs all over Europe, despite Ronaldo's frustration. I don't believe that Manchester City are interested. That will be a relief to Manchester United supporters. I think that would be too much to bear, seeing Cristiano Ronaldo in the blue half of Manchester. They're after Harry Kane, no question about that. He's their number one target. They still believe they can get a deal done between now and August the 31st when the window closes. Clearly, the clock is ticking. I think there's some frustration on their side that this deal isn't done already, and sources close to Harry Kane suggesting that Daniel Levy is actually blanking telephone calls from Manchester City. It's been described as a messy divorce, and as with all messy divorces, it's often the kids that suffer. I think in this case, the kids are the Tottenham fans. Harry Kane feels that his reputation in the eyes of those supporters is almost being deliberately tarnished by Daniel Levy with the suggestions that he didn't return to training. He believes he had an agreement to be allowed to extend his holiday. Tottenham, by all accounts, withdrew that agreement according to the Harry Kane camp without telling him, hence the confusion when he was unable to train because he was in isolation after returning from holiday. So lots of strands to this story. Ultimately, Harry Kane believes he has a gentleman's agreement. He struck it at the start of last season that if Spurs didn't win a trophy, didn't qualify for the Champions League, he would be allowed to leave. And he feels, and they feel, the Kane camp, that Daniel Levy has reneged on that agreement.
It's you know, some cricket, it's a real shame. And it's not the first time we've seen it, but it's kind of the first time we've seen it recently with somebody whose image has always been absolutely spot on in everything that he's done and everything the way he's went about his business. And I do if I not knowing the full facts, it's very, very difficult to form a kind of educated opinion. But that being the case, I just don't see Harry Kane acting the way he's acted unless he feels as though he's been let down. And it's a kind of bizarre thing to say, Crookie, because I don't know Harry Kane, but I just watch him, you listen to him, the way he handles himself, and there's something happened that's annoyed Harry Kane, and it's going to have to get resolved one way or the other. And as I said the other day, I think you said it yesterday, Crookie, it has to happen sooner rather than later. He either goes to Manchester City or he doesn't, and it's in the best interests of all parties to get it sorted out ASAP.
Yeah, I think there's probably two sides to the story.
Without doubt.
I personally believe this gentleman's agreement probably was struck. I don't believe the Harry Kane camp have plucked that from the air. But I suppose Tottenham still have a valuation, and they're entitled to have a valuation on their star striker. He's arguably the best striker in the Premier League. At the moment, I think Manchester City's highest bid is £125 million. Spurs want at least 150. So Daniel Levy would argue, why should we sell our star striker for less than his market value? So I think there are two sides. And I think mistakes have been made by Harry Kane. For example, to my knowledge, he didn't react to Spurs' magnificent win against Manchester City on his social media platforms at the weekend. I don't think it would have taken much for Harry Kane to put a message on Twitter or Instagram saying, well done, lads, fantastic start to the season. At the moment, he's still a Tottenham player. Probably should have acknowledged that victory.
Let's move on, because Arsenal are closing in on a new signing. This one might please Arsenal fans. Martin Odegaard, so on a loan now, looking to make it permanent.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this, Laura. Maybe you can give me an opinion. They're closing in on two players, as they understand it, because they're back in conversations with Sheffield United for Aaron Ramsdale, the England goalkeeper, having previously said they were pursuing other targets. I think there's a willingness on all sides to get that deal done, and I would expect Aaron Ramsdale now to become an Arsenal player. But Martin Odegaard's an interesting one because you're right, he was on loan last season from Real Madrid. The two clubs are in the final stages of negotiating a fee which will be in excess of £30 million. Now, from what I saw of Martin Odegaard last season, I'm not sure he was a £30 million player. Have I missed something here?
No, I don't think you missed something. And I think when I say people will be pleased about it, it's a nice signing. Perhaps people got a little bit more excited about James Maddison and about him coming to Arsenal. And this sort of feels a little bit like we'll kind of deal with that, whatever. I thought he was good. I thought there were some real positive signs from him last season. The price tag does feel a bit much, doesn't it? I think the Ramsdale one was probably a bit more confusing, especially in the past, when we've had goalkeepers and we've let them go because we haven't wanted to give them first team football. And I actually, with Emi Martinez, I wanted him to stay. I understand why he wanted to leave, because he wanted to be a goalkeeper in the Premier League and wanted to start games, and he was being held back for so long at Arsenal, so I totally understand why he wanted to go. I wish he didn't, to be honest, but I think spending that much money on a goalkeeper, really, as much as I really like Aaron Ramsdale, I think there's other areas, really important areas, that you want to be spending a bit more money with Arsenal. Yeah,
I probably agree with you on that, but I don't necessarily share the cynicism of Arsenal fans when it comes to Aaron Ramsdale. I think he is a good goalkeeper. He proved that in the second half of last season. And what I also think he is, having got to know him reasonably well when he was at Bournemouth, I think he's got a massive personality. And I think that's something Arsenal are clearly lacking, a bit of leadership in the dressing room. I also think if they're going to spend £28 million, which is the fee that I've been given, he's not coming in to be Bernd Leno's understudy. I think he's going to be coming in to take Bernd Leno's shirt.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.